The last time that I did a story time, I saw some comments saying that they loved it. So out of love from my fans, I'm going to do another story time session for you guys. I hope you like it because these stories are really funny, and yeah, you'll let me know in the comments if you want some more. My boyfriend and I were dressed and ready to go out for a lovely evening of dinner and movies. Having been burgled before, we turned on the nightlight and then put our cat in the backyard. When our Uber arrived, we walked out the front door, but our cat scooted between our legs and ran upstairs. Because our cat likes to chase our parakeets, we didn't want to leave them unchaperoned, so my boyfriend ran back inside to retrieve the cat and put it back in the backyard. But I didn't want our Uber driver to know that our house would be empty all night. So I told him that my boyfriend has gone inside to bid goodnight to my mother. A few minutes later, he got into the Uber all hot and bothered. As the car drove off, he said, "Sorry it took so long, but the stupid bitch was hiding under the bed and I had to poke her ass with a coat hanger for her to come out." She tried to run off, but I grabbed her by the neck and covered her in a blanket so she wouldn't scratch me like she did last time. But it worked. I dragged her fat ass down the stairs and threw her into the backyard. She had better not shit in the vegetable garden again. The silence in the Uber was deafening. I can't even imagine what the poor guy was thinking at that point. So here's another story. I have a friend who is a teacher. Her name is Mrs. Parks. So Mrs. Parks asked a question to his students one day in class, and it went like this. She is a science teacher, so she asked, which human body part increases its size 10 times when stimulated? No one answered, so she picked on a random student. Mary stood up and said, "You should not be asking grade 6 students such a question. I'm going to tell my parents, and they're going to tell the principal, who will then fire you." Mrs. Parks ignored her and asked the question again. Which body part increases 10 times its size when stimulated? Mary seemed shocked, and then she told her friends around her, "Boy, is she going to get in big trouble." My friend continued to ignore her and then asked the whole class, "Anybody?" Finally, a kid named Billy stood up, looked around nervously and said, "The body part that increases 10 times its body size when stimulated is the pupil of the eye." Mrs. Parks said, "Very good, Billy," then turned to Mary and said, "As for you, young lady, I have 3 things to say. 1, you have a dirty mind. 2, you didn't read your homework. And 3, one day you're going to be very, very disappointed." I have another story. Mike was going to be married to Karen, so his father sat him down for a little chat. He said, "Mike, let me tell you something. On my wedding night, in our honeymoon suite, I took off my pants, gave them to your mother and said, 'Here, try these on.' She did and said, 'These are too big, I can't wear them.' I replied and said, 'Exactly, I wear the pants in this family. And I always will.' Ever since that night, we've never had any problems." Mike thought that might be a good thing to try. So on his wedding night, he took off his pants and gave them to Karen and told him to try them on. She tried them on and said, "These are too large, they can't fit me." Mike said, "Exactly. I wear the pants in this family and I always will. I don't want you to ever forget that." Then Karen took off her panties and gave them to Mike. Then she said, "Here, try this on." He did and said, "I can't get into your panties." Karen said, "Exactly. And if you don't change your smartass attitude, you never will." This brings me to the end of my video, guys. Thank you so much for watching this far. If you haven't, kindly subscribe to my channel, hit a like and leave a comment. Thank you.